Let's go Broncos! The whispers coming out of Dove Valley are getting louder, and they're not just about the quarterback battle. There's something brewing deep inside Broncos training camp, something that could shake up the depth chart in ways nobody predicted. And under the radar, a running back is turning heads with electric playmaking, a veteran signing is doing more than just filling a roster spot, and a backup linebacker might be quietly forcing his way into the starting conversation. What does all this mean for Sean Payton's master plan? I've got everything you need to know. But before we dive into the heart of what's really going down, make sure you've already smashed that like button, only if you're a die-hard Broncos fan. And if you've been riding with this team for over 20 years, drop a comment saying, "Go Broncos! My heart bleeds orange and blue." Now, let me show you exactly what's happening behind the scenes, and why it could change everything for the Broncos in 2025. One of the hottest storylines coming out of training camp is the battle, or maybe the not-so-much battle, at running back. The spotlight is on RJ Harvey, and for good reason. This kid is turning heads with his explosive agility and big play potential. During 11-on-11 drills, Harvey ripped off a highlight-worthy run that had everyone buzzing. It was a lateral masterpiece, shifting direction from left to right with a jump cut so clean it left defenders reaching for air. And Sean Payton? He couldn't hide his reaction. That's the kind of moment coaches remember when they're making decisions in tight depth chart battles. But don't get too carried away. Harvey isn't flawless. Immediately after that jaw-dropping run, he was exposed in pass protection, getting absolutely worked by a blitz. It was a stark reminder that while he has the raw tools to be dynamic, he still has to grow in critical areas, especially in an NFL where protecting the quarterback is just as valuable as gaining yards. And that's where the June signing of JK Dobbin makes all the sense in the world. Dobbin's transitioned swiftly into the Broncos offense, and it's paying off already. Unlike Harvey, Dobbin thrives in those gritty, traditional roles, lowering the shoulder, running downhill, and most importantly, handling pass protection like a veteran. That's not to say Dobbin isn't a playmaker. He's been one in the NFL before, but his skill set perfectly complements Harvey's more electric, sideline-to-sideline style. Here's the key, and this is what makes Payton's offensive scheme so unique. There might not even be a true lead back. Instead, we're likely to see a heavy rotation with different packages tailored for different scenarios. First down might feature Harvey bouncing outside, and then next possession you see Dobbin bulldozing through the middle. It's a tag team dynamic that could quietly turn the Broncos' run game into a real asset after a disappointing 2024 ground campaign. Don't sleep on Tyler Batty either. He's still developing, especially in pass protection, but his presence gives Denver even more flexibility in the backfield. If Payton plays his cards right, this trio could offer a little bit of everything: speed, power, agility, and reliability. And it's not just the offense that's showing life. Over on the defensive side, one name is starting to stand out in a major way: Laval Bailey. With Drew Sanders sidelined, Bailey has stepped into the spotlight and he's seizing the opportunity with both hands. You might not remember much about his 2024 season. He only notched 5 tackles, but don't let that fool you. This guy's background as a 4-year starter at Fresno State speaks volumes about his experience and football IQ. Bailey's college resume is impressive: 277 total tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 6 interceptions. As a linebacker, pulling down 6 picks is no joke. That kind of ball-hawking instinct, especially in pass coverage, makes him a serious asset in today's NFL where linebackers are expected to be more than just run stoppers. During camp, Bailey's coverage skills and play recognition have caught the coaching staff's attention. With Vance Joseph's defense built around adaptability and next-man-up mentality, Bailey might be writing his own ticket into a more prominent role, especially if the health concerns around the linebacker unit continue to linger. It's important to keep in mind that while Alex Singleton and newcomer Dre Greenlaw are expected to anchor the linebacker group, depth is going to be the real difference maker across the season. The Broncos' defense is shaping up to be elite, possibly even the best in the league, if, and only if, the linebacker core stays healthy. Let's keep it rolling, because there's still a lot to unpack here. RJ Harvey's rise isn't just a feel-good training camp story. It might be a sign that the Broncos are ready to turn the page on a backfield that struggled for consistency and explosiveness last season. Let's be honest, the 2024 run game left fans frustrated. Missed opportunities, lack of burst, and poor blocking assignments often killed drives before they ever had a chance to develop. That's why seeing someone like Harvey breaking off dynamic plays, even if only in camp, is such a breath of fresh air. But we can't ignore the red flags either. His breakdown in pass protection is more than just a minor hiccup. It could become a liability if not addressed quickly. In Sean Payton's system, running backs are expected to be well-rounded. You're not just a ball carrier, you're a blocker, a receiver, a chess piece. One missed blitz pickup can derail an entire offensive series or, worse, get your quarterback lit up. That's why Dobbin's presence is so critical. He's that stabilizer, the guy who can handle the dirty work while Harvey dazzles in space. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Payton isn't looking for one back to do it all. Maybe he's building a modular run game, one where every back has a clear, defined role, and where matchups dictate usage. You face a fast, aggressive front? Bring in Dobbins. Need to spread the field and stretch the defense horizontally? Harvey's your guy. Want to test the waters with a receiving threat out of the backfield? Maybe that's where Batty gets his shot. It's chess, not checkers. Now turning back to the defense, the situation with Laval Bailey might be even more fascinating. On paper, he's not supposed to be in this conversation. He's a fringe roster guy, a depth piece. But what we're seeing at training camp tells a different story. Bailey is showing instincts, command, and perhaps most importantly, reliability. When Sanders went down, it was Bailey who got the call. And what did he do with that opportunity? He executed. Don't underestimate what that means in a defense like Vance Joseph's. Joseph values versatility, but even more than that, he values trust. He wants to know that when a player is on the field, he knows his assignment, he can read the offense, and he won't be the weak link. Bailey is starting to check those boxes. There's also the matter of turnovers. A linebacker with 6 interceptions in college? That's not common. It speaks to Bailey's awareness and ability to read the quarterback, traits that are becoming more valuable in today's pass-happy NFL. If he can carry that over to the pros, even in a limited role, he could become a serious asset in sub-packages or third-down situations. Of course, his actual snap count will depend on how Singleton and Greenlaw perform and whether Sanders can return fully healthy. But if you're Bailey, you're not just playing for snaps this season, you're playing for a long-term roster spot. And from what we're seeing so far, he's making a strong case. All of this feeds into a broader narrative about the 2025 Broncos. This is a team that feels like it's on the edge of breaking through or breaking apart. Sean Payton has reshaped the culture, but now he has to make all the pieces fit. The quarterback room is still under the microscope. The offensive line needs to gel, and the defensive unit, while loaded, has to stay healthy. But if training camp is any indication, the young guys are stepping up, and the veterans are setting the tone. So, Broncos country, here's the big question to take us out. If RJ Harvey continues to flash as a playmaker but struggles in pass protection, should he still get the majority of reps? Or does that risk outweigh the reward? And what about Laval Bailey? Are we witnessing the birth of the next great Broncos linebacker? Or is it just a camp mirage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from the real fans. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around because we've got more Broncos content coming your way. There's a video on screen right now you won't want to miss. Go Broncos!